everybody. Welcome back to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 13. So in the beginning of this episode, we are at Angie's house and we see Heather show up. And we start to see some of the other ladies show. We see beautiful Mary show up. And I guess for this moment, since Angie wants to become, she wants to have her dual citizenship and she wants the other one to be in Greece, she's going to invite the ladies to come to Greece with her. So as some of the ladies gather at Angie's house, she is going to teach them a little bit of Greek words, just more common words so that they can be just a little bit familiar with the language. So as ladies are learning the language and picking up some phrases that they may use, we see that they're having a good time. We see some of the ladies are starting to pack for the trip. Now, as this episode goes on, we see some of the ladies like Bronwyn having trouble arriving at the airport, tripping over her own baggage. We see the rest of the ladies show up and they, hop on their flight and head on over to Greece. And I'm kind of with Lisa. Angie, if I have to hear about Greece one more time, other than something else that's going on in your life, it's going to be me and you. Next season, Angie, if you're still here, honey, I want to hear something different about your life other than you being Greek. And so as we see the ladies land. They're excited. They're excited to tour Greece because some of them haven't been to Greece. And I'm excited to look at Greece because I don't think I'll ever be able to tour Greece myself. As the ladies pull up to the hotel, which the outside looks beautiful, so I can't wait to see the rooms. They're going to go to dinner first and they're going to enjoy the local sangria. As the ladies are having dinner, enjoying each other's time, and everybody's looking like they're friendly from the last event that they had, at the Boston Tea Party, was to just throw all that drama all the way over into the ocean. We then get to hear that from Heather that Lisa got on Angie for copying her because Angie got a Cartier. Lisa, you're not the only bitch that can afford that shit. I'm not understanding why do you think somebody's just instantly copying you? Lisa, there's nothing to copy because you're also copying. Please get over your elitist attitude, Lisa. You're not that rich, honey. You're wealthy, but you ain't up there. Because if you were, you would not be on the show. There would be no need for you to be on this show. So then at the table, Heather also reveals, I got me a Cartier too. So, Lisa, you're not that special just because you out here rocking Cartier. And, the ladies are not as materialistic as Lisa is. I mean, they definitely are. They have materialistic ways, but it's not as bad as Lisa's. You base your entire personality off of everything that you have, and that Lisa, let it go. And now for Heather to sit there and just drop $6,000 on matching Cartiers, Heather, girl, okay, let's do that. But then it also has me thinking, Lisa, you tripping over $6,000? I thought you had more money than that. Y'all supposed to be living the high life. And $6,000 for a Cartier sounds like nothing to people with money like that. So for me, that's everything. $6,000, oh, that watch is never getting off my wrist, okay? I am absolutely loving the way that they are sitting there trying to mess with Lisa because of Lisa. Girl, at the end of the day, who cares what you have? The ladies at the table can afford the same shit just like you. What's even more funny is that Mary is sitting there like, I'm not arguing over no Cartier watch, girl. That's for grandmas. For Mary to say that, yeah, we know how deep Mary's pockets run. The conversation also leads to, Angie going, Lisa, I've been had Cartier. I've had Cartier for 10 years and now all of a sudden I'm copying you. And then, you see the proof of Angie having a Cartier for 10 years on Facebook. So Lisa, girl, don't do it again, Lisa. Just sit back and relax a trip. Why do you always have to go somewhere and start something with somebody? And now they're all just going to stand up against you, Lisa, because you need to sit down somewhere. Now, every time you try to start something, they're going to do it on purpose just to irritate you, just to show you that, girl, we got the same amount of money. And Lisa wants to sit there and act like it's not about competition. Then why would you sit there and say that Angie's copying you? Then if it's not about competition, if nobody, if it's not that big of a deal, why are you insinuating somebody's copying you? And then you went and then turned around and then justified how everyone feels. I got mine 2025. It's the first one in this color. Who's competing now? Lisa, you are. And like Angie said, she's one up on you. She got 5, you got 4. Now what? I guess that's just rich folk problems then. Y'all have nothing else to argue about, so now you just have to argue about who was first to get whatever little trinket that probably won't cost no much more in some other country. And finally, all the bickering ends because guess what? Dinner's over and the ladies get out. Now it's the next day in Greece for them because they have been traveling for 2 days on and off planes and boarding and things like that because it does take a while to get to Greece. Now this is the part of the trip I like. I do love to see where they're staying. The villa is absolutely gorgeous and spacious. delicious, and the view is just absolutely amazing. But as the ladies meet up outside of the villa on their patio, we see, Lisa got to have a glam squad. We see why, but she, getting her makeup done. The ladies are eating breakfast, catching up, and we see that, Heather's not really, feeling Meredith because she still hasn't forgiven her for the things that she said and about being Brittany's friend. And Heather, I 110% agree. Like, I can be friends with whomever. It's just, I'm not going to bad talk you, and you need to trust me as a friend to do that. But because the ladies are having a very chill day, they're just going to go to the beach and enjoy the sun. Now we see all the ladies get ready. They're leaving out the door. They're catching a bus to the beach. The view is absolutely gorgeous. But we see Meredith kind of frustrated that, Heather won't give her the time of day to talk to her about, Heather being called a liar by Meredith, and Meredith, it's not going to go your way. You don't get to hurt people and say things about them and then expect them to hurry up and get over it because that's what you want. You need to give Heather the time. Now the ladies get to the beach and they have their drinks. They're enjoying the weather, and I don't know if this is Mary being nice, because Mary you called him a bucket head, you called him a bucket face, but you did compliment their brains. They are very smart women. But I don't know if this is Mary's way of complimenting someone, because she is still throwing a jab of truth of how she kind of feels about them. And after enjoying the beach for a little bit, the ladies, of course, they sit down to have lunch. Of course, with lunch, we have to get a little messiness. Angie does throw out that Bronwyn, are you looking into getting a second partner while you're out here? And of course, Bronwyn has this awkward face because Bronwyn's like, look, I haven't thrown that idea out, but Bronwyn, you did hint to it that if your husband wants to do it, then you may not mind. But obviously it's a poor joke, poor taste on Angie's side. We know Angie sometimes just throws the jokes out there and is not going to hit as well. And of course the conversation does come up because of Bronwyn and her husband's I guess indiscretion. He was looking at lingerie online and sleeping in a hotel. So now the ladies want to know where Bronwyn headspace is and, if she's happy. And of course, Bronwyn is a matter of fact about it. Like, what, look, it's over it. We're not going to talk about it anymore. We're happy. We've gotten to a place. We've talked about it. And she just wants to dead the situation. So, of course, Bronwyn is just going to say, you know what, I am happy. And I mean, if like I always say with the women, if you're happy, then, hey, be happy. There's nothing else I can say about it. But Mary does bring up a good point. You confided in us what was going on. And now you're sitting here acting like we don't know what we're talking about, or we are insinuating other things, when, honey, that's the whole point of them asking. They're making sure that you're genuinely good. And if you genuinely don't want to talk about it, then tell them that, hey, look, we talked about it. No, I'm not still wearing my ring. We may still have some problems, but that's it. We all know that my husband doesn't want a lot of people in our marriage, in his business. But to completely ignore it and act as if nothing has ever happened, that's where the issue comes in for them. Because are you going to talk about it, or are you just going to blurt it out, expect for us to feel for you, and then the next time you want to act like nothing happened? So how do you want them to feel moving forward if you're going to confide and then act like nothing has happened? You have to stay on the same page. Ladies arrive back from the beach and from lunch, and of course they have to be ready. Why? Because they have to go to dinner. And Angie's like, look, get you some comfortable shoes because we are going to walk, and we're all going to walk a lot, and we're all going to shop. While the ladies are getting ready to head out for the shopping, we see Heather go into Mary's room to kind of talk about Meredith. She wants to know what's wrong with Meredith. And I mean, Heather, you didn't have to go to Mary. Mary would be a good source to help you out, but you didn't have to go to Mary. You could have just went to Meredith yourself. Girl, what's wrong with you? What attitude you got now? But I guess you want a little advice from Mary before going to Meredith. And of course, now that we see, Mary is saying the same thing I'm saying, say it to her face. Tell her what's wrong. What is the actual problem? That is the only way you're going to get rid of the problem. And with Mary saying that, we all know that Heather's not, she's trying to be direct, but we all know that Heather is not as direct as she should be. So hopefully, Heather and Meredith can sit down and have this talk. So as all the ladies meet up, because they're all ready, we still get a glimpse of Lisa, still getting ready with her glam. Yes, they did leave Lisa, because Lisa, girl, you had an hour to get ready and you were still on your phone. So we see that Lisa will have to meet them later. As we see the ladies trotting off, walking off to, I guess, go shopping. We see them walking on the side of the road. And of course, the roads are different than it is over here. And we see Heather go, hey, there's a step right here. And of course, we have Whitney take a nice big tumble. I don't know how she slid off that, but okay. But she slid and fell on the ground. As I'm looking further, I'm seeing that that's like a steep hill and Whitney needed some help. Everybody else done walked off now, but thankfully Brittany and Heather walked back to help her, and the guy helped her about that slippery slope right there because she was going to take a real tumble. Now, as the ladies are shopping, the sun done went down, and we see that Lisa is still getting makeup done. Like, Lisa, how much pound of makeup did you need? And by the way, it's looking, because Lisa's not even dressed, it looks like she'll just meet them for dinner. Now, as the ladies are looking at the beautiful view of the night sky and the town and the city of, I think it's Santorini in Greece, I can't help but to feel, where is Mary? Because we see Lisa strolling up all kinds of late, but where's Mary? And then all I had to do was wait for a little bit more time to see Mary and Bronwyn shopping still. But as we see the other three ladies, Meredith, Mary, and Bronwyn all shopping, of course, Mary is going to bring up the concerns of Heather that she has with Meredith. And as Meredith explains, she has been trying to reach out, trying to, I guess, put out the olive branch, but Heather hasn't been receiving it. But, this is why Mary said Heather has to be straightforward and upfront, because even though we see Meredith, trying to make little progress with trying to speak to you and try to strike up a conversation with you, you're not trying to hear it from her. You're continuing the attitude. So, Heather, do you want to talk to Meredith or do you not want to talk to Meredith? As the other four ladies are continuing to shop, we see Lisa actually does make it to shopping. She's been walking all over Santorini and has even hit her 10,000 step mark. Now, my question is, you wouldn't have had to walk all over town if you would just call one of them and ask, hey, what store you guys in? I'm almost here. But of course, in that moment, because Lisa did miss shopping, now the ladies are hungry. They spent all day walking, so now they're going to go to dinner. So we get to dinner in this next scene, and of course, they have just another beautiful view. And we see Meredith put a box down for Heather to open, which is the evil eye that she bought, which could be a cute peace offering, but the way Heather feels, it may spark up some other, hidden issue. As the ladies sit down and start to be served, some bread, we see that they get blankets because it is a bit chilly out there. And then, with the awkward silence of everybody's just eating bread, Mary breaks the ice, with Heather and Meredith, asking them, are they good? Mary suggested that they should just talk, which is what they really need to do. You don't need to go back and forth asking all the other members of the group what they should talk about. You guys know what you need to talk about and what problems you have. So now that the issue is brought up, they're talking about the peace offering. And I think Heather was a bit right. You got me the peace offering just to, let's just dead this and, let's go back to normal. And I'm with Heather. We're not doing that. So if you want to talk about it, fine. Let's just talk about it now, because I'm not rejecting the peace offering, but I do want to talk. And now we see that Meredith wants to talk privately, which I kind of figured Meredith would have did. She didn't want to talk amongst the group, but you know what? We're here now. So let's talk about it. So as the conversation starts to begin, we see that Heather is just like, you assassinated my character and, kind of just mess with the history of the friendship. So I get where Heather's coming from, because immediately you have Meredith just, no, I did not. No, I did not do this. And the whole thing, Meredith, she's just going to deflect. She's going to deny everything, deny, and not take accountability for anything that she has done towards Heather. And now, of course, we see Lisa hopping in because she's going to defend Meredith, and she feels like Heather is just holding on to what Meredith said or what she feels Meredith may have said. That's not the case, Lisa. Heather is not holding on to anything. She's making Meredith be accountable for the things that she says and not backtrack or just deny that she said them at all. And even with Whitney saying, well, let's let Meredith speak for herself, we have Lisa that's still going to continue to speak for her. And I'm very proud of Heather in this moment, because Heather is like, no. We're not going to miss words. We didn't have a miss. And Heather is exactly right. You've had bigger issues in this group, but you allowed yourself to get extremely irate over just a TikTok. You have chosen to ignore those other bigger issues. And of course, what does Meredith do? She denies it. She's never going to hold accountability for that. So in this moment, we do get to see Lisa speak back up for herself, because she feels like Heather has hurt her feelings in certain moments. And when Heather apologizes, apologizes, we get Lisa and her wannabe waterfall of tears that never seem to come down her cheeks. And the entire conversation then turns to about Lisa. It's all about Lisa. Her feelings are hurt. And Lisa, this was not your moment, but you know what? Have at it. And then even in this moment, we see Whitney get emotional because she's tired of watching her friends fight. But maybe it's just me. It's a lot of emotion going on. Everybody's probably overstimulated and just tired of all the bickering and all the petty fights and arguments. But with this conversation going on, we see that Whitney is claiming that Meredith is the problem because they're all fighting because of how she treated Brittany on the plane, to which that is true. Meredith, had you not did that, they wouldn't be in this position. And I agree with Whitney and Heather. You do owe them an apology because you did lash out when they tried to intervene and stop. You and Lisa both kept going. And to blame Whitney as the pot stirrer, no, everybody has had, besides Mary and Heather maybe, but everybody has had a hand in stirring the pot. But you're just trying to deflect off the situation. Yeah, maybe you and Brittany may have moved on, but what you did to Heather and Whitney, that's a different separate issue that y'all need to handle. And now, the conversation upsets Meredith because, Whitney had a point. You're the problem right now. And yes, Meredith, you need to fix that. But Meredith gets up, she leaves. Of course, Lisa's running behind her. That's the bestie. They're going to hold on to their truths. And as this episode ends, we see that Heather just feels worse because she's going to end up apologizing again. And my thing is, Heather, don't apologize for nothing. You say how you feel just like they want to say how they feel all the time. So there's nothing for you to apologize for. But that's the end of this episode. Y'all let me know down in the comments. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And thank you. See you in the next video.